everyone. Good morning, all. As we believe nothing can stop us to learn, so that we all are gathered over here on virtual media. Hereby, I welcome you all, principals, HOD, and participants, and all the dignitaries in today's session about cloud computing. So, without any delay, I would like to welcome our today's speaker, Mr. Mayank Pandya sir, on behalf of Parul Polytechnic Institute. He is into training and cybersecurity services industry around 2 to 3 years, also a corporate trainer of Mile 2 for cybersecurity. Previously, he was worked as senior executive for IT infrastructure and security in Reliance Industries, and prior that working on data center setup in Pune for companies like Sintel, Symantec and Toshiba, etc. So without any delay, we start our today's session. Over to you, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks a lot, ma'am. And good morning to all of you. So myself, Mayank Pandya, and today we have this session regarding the cloud computing. Okay. So many of us have heard about the cloud. Nowadays, this infrastructure or these services are in high in demand. Okay. But there are certain myths regarding the clouds also in market. Okay. So what exactly this cloud technology? Okay, what are the beneficiaries of this infrastructure? Okay, so all these things we are going to learn today. Okay, so what is cloud computing? Okay, so on this image you can see, maybe you all guys have heard about the story about some 5 to 7 blind people, and they were informed to touch the object in front of them. Okay, so it's like an elephant put on in front of them, and everyone were touching with different parts of elephant. Someone touched the trunk and he identified that it's like a snake. Someone touched the feet and says that it's like a tree. Okay, someone touched the ears, so consider it like a fan blowing, right? So all these things, different things are there as per the human mindset. Okay, the same thing is for cloud. Some says that cloud is like a network infrastructure only. Some says it's a virtual servers only. Okay, some says it's having the applications running on the platform. Okay, so number of things as per different users perspective can be possible. Okay, so now exactly what is the cloud computing? So it is a comprehensive solution which can deliver the IT as a service. Okay, IT means that is information technology, that is the generalized thing. But what IT we can consider? Okay, so for any organization or corporate perspective, if we see the IT, so it covers the number of portfolio. Okay, it covers the machine support, system support, hardware or network. Okay, network implementation and network monitoring, certain server infrastructure, uh, roles and responsibilities over the server, then applications hosted or number of the services which can be accessible by the client server architecture, and lastly the important thing is the security part. Right? Means the security over the infrastructure, security for the applications and the support, right? So for any organization perspective, all things are covered under the IT. Okay, so cloud is providing all these facilities. Okay, so that anyone, any organization can access as per the need. Okay, so what exactly there? The computers in the cloud are like configured to work together, and the various applications that can be used to collective computing power. Okay, running over a single system. So that can be scale up or scale down, okay, as per the requirement. As it is mentioned that the flexibility of the cloud computing is function of allocation resources on demand. So someone says that I required hard disk or the storage capacity up to 2 terabyte, petabyte, zettabyte, okay, whatever they demand. Okay, so each and everything is possible from a single like 10 GB or 2 GB till in a number of capacity like petabyte or yottabyte in capacity they can provide. So cloud is not only for the storage. Okay, I'm just giving this just an example, but there are a number of you can have server platforms, everything. Okay, so that we're going to see in further slides. Okay, so it is this graphics representations regarding this cloud computing. That is equals to the complete data center setup, which covers the servers, network infrastructure, okay, individual machines, everything. Okay, so that computing and software resources that can be delivered on demand as a service. So that is the ultimate goal for the cloud computing. Okay, let's go with some history and origins with this. Okay, see, the earlier computer was invented that was like so basic, but it is considered as a supercomputer because of those calculations which are not possible by using certain calculators. Okay, that high power of calculation can be performed by the computers available. So that mainframe has been started from 1960s onwards. Okay, from 1990 onwards, the Salesforce has started initial cloud computing fundamental, means the services that can be offered by the internet. Okay, from 2002 onwards, the Amazon has started, that is the AWS, Amazon Web Services. By 2006 onwards, they have started the two main verticals, that is S3 and EC2. What is the S3 and EC2? We'll go further in slide. And from 2008 onwards, Google, the Microsoft has started Azure. Okay, so nowadays we have the number of cloud platforms available. Okay, these are the just big name, AWS and Azure and Google clouds. Okay, there are many cloud platforms available across the world. Okay, so let's see further. Now we need to understand what is the essential characteristics of cloud computing. We have seen what is cloud or what can we achieve. Okay, but what are the parameters that can offer us? Okay, first thing, that is the on-demand self-service. Means like any organization is required certain configuration server or certain configurations machines. Okay, and with having certain platforms loaded with that. Okay, so everything can be uh, allocated, only client has to choose and they have to configure accordingly. Okay, so it's like a buffet dinner, right? Everything will be there, you have to just go and access as on demand, whatever you require, whatever you likes. Okay, then the network access. So if you wanted to establish your internal network over the cloud, that is also possible, they offer these services. Resource pooling, no need to purchase the standardized application softwares platforms. Okay, for example, if any software development company, okay, and they require to have official Visual Studio application or the license version, okay, or the .NET framework, so they don't need to buy anything, they can just subscribe with cloud. Okay, so it is like as on demand. If project is in hand, they can subscribe for a certain period of time, like let's for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Okay, when there is no further requirement, they can unsubscribe the services for time being. Okay, so only they have to pay as per their requirement and need, and thus they can get the standardization version, support everything. Okay, so that is kind of considered as a resource pooling. We can pull up the resources as an when it is required. Then rapid elasticity. Okay, we can increase the requirement if the demand is scale up or scale down. Okay, based on that we can scale up the infrastructure facilities. Okay, by paying for the requirements, and if requirements over, we can again scale down. Okay, and another, that is the flexible pricing, pay per use. Okay, this model is also there, so you can only pay as per you use that. Some, like there is a free tier also available, account is available with Amazon. So with certain limitations, okay, you can use that on a free, and based on the usage increases the free limit, okay, you have to pay accordingly, right? So these are the facilities given from this cloud infrastructure. Okay, so that is the one of the core essential characteristics regarding the cloud computing. Now, what are the layers over the cloud services? Okay, there are certain layers like infrastructure layer, platform, and applications. It is like in three layers, as well as you can opt the services in either of these three layers. Either could be of infrastructure services, platform services, or the applications or software services. Okay. And based on these services, the certain models on the cloud has been designed. Okay, what are those models? Okay, so first one, that is the considered as a SaaS, that is software as a service. Okay, so that it delivers the methodology which required to have the license multi-tenant access of software. Okay, and all the facilities and functions along with the support. Okay, consider as a remotely handled from the web-based services. Okay, another thing, that is the platform as a service. So for that, as I said, for development of any web application, or let's say for any Android app or iOS app, whatever the required framework or the platform, okay, each and everything can be subscribed as per the requirement. So platform as a service provides all the facilities which required to support the complete life cycle of building and delivering web applications. Okay. Maybe in near future, or many of you who are from maybe the final year know about the SDLC, software development life cycle. What are the requirements, components required, framework, infrastructure. Okay. So all these things are available and subscribe, or the uh, service register as per the requirement. Okay, with using the platform as a service model. And the last one, or that is the base of any infrastructure, that is the IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So it deliver the technology infrastructure as on demand scalable service. Means, for example, if you are looking forward to have a highly configured server, okay, which could be have around 3 to 4 processors, let's say 32 GB or 48 GB of RAM, okay, terabyte capacity of hard disk, okay. So with this configurations, if you procure any physical server, it would be cost in lakhs of rupees, okay, more than the 8 to 10 lakhs above. Plus, we have to choose a licensed version of respective server operating system, okay. So that also going to increase the cost by using that server, okay. Rather, uh, investing such huge amount, okay, the organization can go and opt for the infrastructure as a service. So there they can get exact whatever their demand is, and they have to only pay per month model for that services, right? So that infrastructure, like, to taken the infrastructure on lease, okay, that is the concept. But still, till the time you are using that, it will be considered as it's your own, right? So that is the completely own virtual environment of infrastructure is available. Okay, in with this infrastructure as a service model. Now, what are the characteristics of these models specifically? So let's start with the SaaS, that is software as a service. So it is the scalable, okay, multi-tenant. So it is not like that only one person can use at a time. Okay, number of people can access those services with that application. Okay, the metadata driven configurability. Number of times they provide you some certain session for free on certain period of time. Okay, it's also easy to use and good consumer adoption, plus the proven business models. Okay, so nowadays majority organizations or the Fortune 500 and the top companies are using such services. Even the software development companies are also uh, diverting in this model, rather to go and set up own infrastructure and the maintenance and management headache. Okay, they usually use such software as a services model with either of AWS or Azure. Then it comes the platform as a services. It is also the scalable. So in all the level, it provides the scalability, okay, or we can call it as elasticity. Plus the multi-tier architecture. Multi-tier architecture is if you wanted some infrastructure based on the Windows machine or based on the Linux machine or maybe the Mac OS base. Okay, so everything you can get, plus the multi-tenant environment is also there. Okay, so the developers like specifically they can upload configured applications and runs within the platform's framework, so they can test over. Okay, and they can test for the development part, security part. Number of things can be covered by this implementation. Okay, so that is the platform as a service. In infrastructure as a service, it can offer a full control of company's infrastructure. Okay, number of times it is possible they provide some certain premium pricing. Okay, to build up the complex to build and manage and maintain. Okay, so as any organization, if they set up their own completely working infrastructure, okay, so infrastructure cost is one thing. Next is the management and maintenance. Okay, every year like they have to upgrade the license or renewal the licenses of respective operating system as well as softwares they are using in that. Okay, so it is the mandatory to have go through with all these procedures for any organization. But if they opt for such infrastructure as a service model, okay, then all the worries about the infrastructure management is on the service provider end, not the client end. They can only pay as per their requirement. That's it. Plus, they can assure they could get the 24/7 uninterrupted services. Okay, so that is the SOP or SLAs which are bound with any of these services. Now, just this is an example. What are the cloud service model? So, software as a service like Google facility or even the Facebook is providing number of supports, as well as Microsoft online services. Office 365 is one of the best cloud-based implementation from Microsoft. Maybe many of you have heard about this Office 360. Okay, then Google Gmail as a service. Okay, one of the best example is also like the Parole University also using the Google services. Okay, they have their official Parole University.ac.in. That domain is can be accessible by using the Gmail, right? So these are the adopting of the technologies. Okay, then the platform as a service. So Google App Engine is providing this facility to design and develop the applications. Okay, force.com, it is also one of the platform service provider. Windows Azure, okay, that provides number of all the Microsoft products. Not only the Microsoft, they also provide the other open source tools and mechanisms also, but major products are only based on their own developed Microsoft products. Okay, with this Azure model. And infrastructure as a service. So for that, the renowned telecom company, that is AT&T, Rackspace Cloud, and the AWS. AWS is one of the giant player in these cloud services. Okay, they can offer the infrastructure beyond your thinking. Okay, whatever you can demand. Okay, only it is the condition that you should have capacity to pay for that. Okay, so they have highly scalable this cloud environment is available to provide for the infrastructure as a service. Okay, now let's go with certain comparison. What are the differences between all these IaaS, PWS, and SWS model? Okay, and that we are going to compare with the traditional IT. Okay, so these graphics will be given from the Microsoft only, so that it is the source of Microsoft. Okay, now as we can compare with this traditional IT means the organizations are implementing their IT infrastructure and the services. Okay, so what are the things what they have to manage means in any organization they have to manage all these things. That are the applications that they have to manage the data, the runtime, middleware, operating system, virtualization, server, storage, networking. So each and everything will be in their scope, okay, of any organization. They have to procure the hardware, they have to configure, they have to procure for the operating system or the license platform or the framework, okay, and lastly the applications, plus their maintenance management to make them 24 by 7, all the efforts will be only catered by the respective organization. Okay, so in traditional IT, everything will be bear by the uh, respective IT team of any organization. Okay, while in infrastructure as a service model, okay, so what is going as a delivery service delivery? Okay, so they are like network part will be handled by the service provider, storage, servers, virtualization, even certain level operating system also. Okay, everything will be handled by the service provider like AWS or Azure. Okay. What client had have to handle, so they can only manage their applications, whatever they have subscribed, or they can host their own applications. Then the data mechanism or the data part, runtime and middleware. Only they are worried about only these things. Rest of the infrastructure, which is the core essential, which is completely high capacity network setup and high in performance the servers. Okay, plus the storage capacity. So each and everything will be handled from the service provider end. Then it comes the platform as a service. So on this model, till runtime and networking, all the things will be handled and managed by the delivery services, means from the ISP end. Okay. Only client have to manage their applications, what they have subscribed, and the respective data, what are uh, part or generated or accessed by that application. Okay. And software as a service, so everything will be completely provided as a service from the service provider. So each and every segment. Okay, so the client no need to even buy a single application, or no need to like create any data. They can have all this facility available, means they can subscribe for the applications. Based on that, they can generate, and data can also be available over the cloud network. Okay, so they don't have to have this separate data server or database server, right? So everything will be handled over the cloud service provider. Okay, so these are the main comparison and differentiations between the traditional IT, infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service and software as a services. Okay. Now let's say what are the benefits and the risks with this cloud model. Okay, till all these slides, what we have seen, so we only identify that good factors about the cloud computing. Okay, definitely it's good, but there are certain risks also associated. Okay, so let's go through with each and everything. So let's say in first, that is the infrastructure as a service model. Okay, what are the benefits for that? So it provides the on-demand infrastructure. For today, if you require one server, okay, you can subscribe for that and take the services started. Okay, in future, company grows, they require to have more servers to facilitate the user or the employees. Okay, they can increase immediately. Okay, no need to go and check for the model and delivery and everything. No, anytime, instantly, they can just subscribe. They have to pay accordingly, and the servers can be available. So not only for the server, for any, like even storage, they can increase anytime or decrease anytime. Okay, so that is the on-demand infrastructure facility which is provided. What are the risk factor? Okay, so risk factor is first thing, that is the security, data persistence, data aggregation, business risk outages, and service failures can affect multi-tenants and customers. Okay, so these are the chances. Okay, let's say if any nature calamity occurs wherever these services are hosted or wherever the data center is available, either earthquake or flood or anything. Okay, so that means your infrastructure was completely dependent on this platform can be wiped out, right? Or some breaches has been done with that respective cloud service provider end. Okay, then your data can also be getting compromised. Okay, so because we are hosting everything, or we are relying for each and every facility on some third party. Okay, so that is the one of the associated risk with the cloud model. Okay, and business risk outage is some sort of the time if server down or whatever the power failure occurs. Number of things. Though they have all the threat analysis has been done in prior. Okay, they are ready with certain backups and everything, but considering on certain level it can be possible or not possible, but it may create certain time period for the business outages. Okay, what are the best fit in this? First, non-legacy apps, consolidation efforts and hosting for development and testing both. Okay, so legacy means, like as I said, for licensing of each and every machine or application or software, right? No need to worry about that because everything will be handled and maintained by the service provider only. Okay. Then it comes as a platform as a service model. It's a like standardized development environment. It can provide rapid development and testing. Means if company get any project of respective of ERP or application development, and if they don't have any facility or infrastructure available, okay, only it is required to have a laptop or computer. That's it. Each and every requirement regarding the like database server or specific hardware server or certain platform like .NET or PHP or anything. Okay, everything can be subscribed and avail from the cloud service providers, right? So that rapidly development work can be started or over the testing can be started. Okay, but risks are, it is like similar risk as mentioned in infrastructure as a service, because here also we are dependent and rely on the services or platforms provided from the cloud service provider. If something went wrong, the completely your data or the service subscribes can be unaccessible. Okay, and the vendor lock-in. So vendor lock-in means, for example, you have subscribed for a certain period of time and some things uh, go wrong. Okay, due to some any natural calamities. Okay, then that period of time, whatever you have subscribed for that and not able to access the services. Okay, so means the vendor is get locked with the services part. Okay, best fit is the new application development, that application development using the provider building blocks and reduce time to market. So no need to have worry about the physical infrastructure available. Okay, it provides an instant start. Okay, completely new application development or program or infrastructure can be availed with these service providers. Okay, lastly, that is the software as a services. So benefits are like reusable services, only requires limited configuration and management. Okay. As in SaaS model, we have seen that each and everything will be procured from and subscribe from the cloud service provider, and we don't have to like configure or put, like we don't need to set up any other things from our end. Okay. We have to just subscribe them and configure as per the requirement over this cloud infrastructure, right? Everything, the risk factor which is mentioned in above, platform as a service and infrastructure service, so that is also associated with the software as a service also. Okay, then base will configure over the customization and commoditize the applications. Means if you require certain customization in the application, okay, as per the organization need, that can be possible. For example, if you procure some software in traditional IT environment, okay, but if you are required certain changes, then that product will not be going to provide the customization. But this facility is also is available only with the cloud model, right? So that these are the core, the benefits and risks regarding the cloud models. Okay. Now let's understand about the what are the types of the cloud. Okay. So they are like private cloud, hybrid cloud, and public cloud. So mainly categorized earlier in public and private cloud. Hybrid cloud is one conceptual and nowadays in demanded facility. Okay, that is the hybrid cloud. Okay, so in private cloud, what happens? It will be complete internal data center. Okay, or the enterprise data center with the respective organization only. Those services cannot be accessible or subscribed or used by any other person who are out of the organization, right? So that is the kind of internal implementation. Okay, like I was in when working with Reliance and other. So we have there our own private cloud facility, right? So that all the geo applications and supports all will be can be accessible by only the geo subscribers or the employees from the Reliance home, right? So all the number of organizations for their internal development work or their services or wherever they uh, taken some projects from other clients. Okay, so the built up and everything will be based on their own infrastructure only. Okay, and they can provide certain access to their registered clients only. Okay, so it is not any user can go and subscribe with their service. No, so that is the completely private cloud model. Okay, public cloud is model is like certain government design data centers. Okay, for that if they offer certain services like some education perspective application softwares. Okay, so people can go and subscribe and use them. Rest are like respective of private companies like Amazon, AWS is considered as a public cloud also, because any layman can subscribe for their use over this cloud network or this cloud model, right? So they are Google Cloud or Azure or the AWS, all are kind of the public cloud also, so that they have the number of regional data center across the globe which are interconnected also. Okay, so that's why they can provide the high backup. Okay, the data loss will be the minimal in such environment, right? Okay, now consider about the hybrid cloud. So in this hybrid cloud there is one service provider also. Okay, we can consider this Amazon and Azure cloud as a hybrid cloud also, because their internal team or the employees or for different services they are also accessing that. So at certain point it is acting as a private cloud for them, while the users which are not belong to any of these organization, they are only accessing respective of their service requirement. Okay, they can also took the facilities from this cloud model. Okay, so it will be acting as a public, so they are like compatible with both the private cloud and the public cloud. Okay, so that's why it is considered as a hybrid cloud model. Okay, over the time, like nowadays we see that there are number of OTT platforms are available, right? We can provide number of streaming of music, videos, etc. Okay, so they also have the internal servers as well as they can host or share their services with some others also. Okay, so in such model it will become like a private, because of the certain service provider and the private cloud are associated. Okay, so we can classify these cloud models with respect to of private, public, and hybrid cloud. Okay, now how this model can work. Okay, we have seen only the parameters of or the characteristics regarding the cloud computing and the applications part. Okay, and the respective model, but exactly how the process can go through. So first it is required to have your user account with either of cloud services or cloud service providers. Okay, means we should have our own user interface, like by using our own laptop or desktop computer. Okay, plus the catalog of published services and options and setting, means user can opt for the number of services. Okay, For that, the complete catalog will be available. Users can choose from the services range, either infrastructure, platform, or software. Okay. So user can go with their credentials by using user ID or plus service parameters if it is there. So user request can reach on to the respective cloud service provider. Okay, first it will be checked for the validation of user's identity. Means whether it is a legitimate user. Okay, whether the authentication is successful, then user gets in into the services model. Okay, another thing, the validity about the request tools or services. Okay, if for example user has subscribed for 1 month, okay, that 1 month period is completed. Okay, then he can able to log in but not able to access the services. Okay, so that validation of service period can also be checked. Okay, the user request management tools, okay, process the user requests and initiate the fulfillment of the operations. Another thing, that is the user request the management process. It sends the instructions to the aggregation layer. Okay. So aggregation layer is acting as a mediator to have the services request from the user, and then it creates a certain like virtual image. Okay, like physical resource pooling or some configure template, like provisioning, tuning, monitoring. Okay, policy implementations, the security part. Okay, for example, if user has subscribed for any Windows server, let's say, okay, then with all the compliance and standard through the aggregation layer, the Windows server have been configured. User has to just go and choose the model, I mean the version of either of the server, whether it is Windows Server 2008, 2012, or 2016. Okay, after choosing the respective version, okay, machine gets installed over uh, the user subscribed environment. Okay, so in that, based on their physical infrastructure subscriptions, okay, the setup will be available, right? So from the cloud service provider and okay, each and everything will be properly set up. Means the performance tuning will be measured, the respective logs and monitoring will be done. Okay, policy implementations as well as certain level of security, so that no other cloud subscriber can get into this respected server which is allocated by some X person, right? And lastly, we launch the specialized application and platform software on virtual image. Okay, so whatever the user can access, it will be accessible by only their own machine. So like they are accessing each and everything, like it is belongs to their own network, or whether it is like belongs to their internal infrastructure. Okay, though it is there into the cloud service provider end. Okay, but it will gives that feel that it is having internal infrastructure only, right? So uh, there are like in AWS, it is their free tier they offer. Okay, so those who are interested in this part, they can go and start using the services. Just create the account first. Okay, and based on that credentials, they can log in and into have the certain services accessibility available. Okay, now what are these cloud applications? Okay, so they are like AWS, we have seen, that is Amazon Web Services. Okay, then Salesforce.com is also one of the provider. Microsoft Azure, Microsoft SQL Azure, IBM Smart Cloud, Google App Engine, OpenStack. Okay, so these are the some big name for this vertical. Okay, in this cloud infrastructure facility, right? Amazon has the multiple their own services. Okay, like this Amazon Prime, then Amazon Music, right? Nowadays, this Alexa and other stuff. Okay, plus Amazon Fire Stick. So they also provide the number of services. Okay, so there is like subscribe on demand model, okay, which is there. You can go and pay for the monthly or can subscribe for a yearly model also, right? So all these number of services are also driven from their own AWS in cloud-based infrastructure. Okay. Now, just short introduction about the AWS, which is started from 2006 onwards. At present, they have the market share more than like 27%. Okay, in overall the cloud business model. Okay, and servers. This was some previous year, I think 2 years before this screenshot is there. But nowadays it is more than around 14 geographical locations. They have their data center setup is available. Okay. Amazon is specifically working in three businesses. Okay. One is the consumer retail business. Okay. Maybe of many of you have heard about the Amazon was early started with uh, e-commerce, specifically with online sharing of books. Okay. Then they completely adopted all the number of groceries and everything. Okay, electronics, groceries, garments. Okay, in all these sections. In India, we know it as a Amazon.in, right? Plus, they also provide the seller business, means those who are producers or manufacturers, they can list their products on the Amazon platform and become the seller with their by using Amazon as their like own retail website. Okay, and lastly, that is the AWS, which we are talking about. That is the IT infrastructure business. So the cloud infrastructure for hosting web scale solutions. Okay, nowadays there are millions of customers are using the cloud services in all these three models. That is software as a service, platform as a services, and infrastructure as a services. So what are the services they offer? Okay, so this screenshot is some blur, but maybe you are able to read out this. That is the compute, storage, and content delivery, databases, networking, administration, security, mobile devices, deployment and management, application services, and analytics. So there are certain frameworks or the platforms available with all these vertical. Okay, for computing, there are virtual servers, containers, event-driven compute functions, auto scaling, load balancings. Okay, which is there. For storage, it is like object storage, block storage. Okay, databases, relational database, NoSQL caching is available. For networking part, the famous thing is it is the VPC, that is virtual private cloud. Okay, maybe you guys have heard about this concept VPN, that is virtual private network. Okay, so the same that is concept by using the cloud services, that is known as a VPC, virtual private cloud. Then direct connections and DNS with respect to if you go for any hosting. That administration security perspective, access control is ultimate thing which can control over the uh, credentials. Then the services opted, usage and resource auditing. Okay, monitoring and log generation. Okay, service catalog. So all these are the part of this administration security. For mobile devices, there are like identity and mobile device management, notifications, analytics are there. Deployment perspective, DevOps resource management is there. Then certain configured resource templates can be provided. Okay. Application services, number of workflow, app streaming, okay, will be there. And for analyticals, there are like Hadoop, real-time machine learning, data warehousing. Okay, so based on all these categories, they can provide the solutions and the facilities, okay, over their Amazon Web Services. These are the respective products provided with all different verticals. For database, they can have the DynamoDB, Elasticache, RDS. that is relational database, and Redshift for storage, that is S3 is the one of the ultimate thing, that is scalable storage in cloud. Then EBS, CloudFront storage gateway. For cross-site service, like they provide the marketplace management console, okay, software development kit, SD keys and IDs. Analyticals, there are MapReduce, like managed by the Hadoop framework only, Kinesis and data pipeline. Okay. For computing and network, it is EC2, okay, virtual private cloud, ELB, that is used for the load balancing services. Okay, workspace is auto scaling, root S3. Okay, so and app services, the number of like email facility, push notification, message queue services, app streaming. So these are all the uh, services in various verticals which can be provided by this Amazon cloud platform. Now, so I have put just one uh, video regarding this. As we have this login done once, okay, we can have after the login, okay, this kind of skin can be available. So based on the which services we have subscribed, like Beanstalk or S3, EC2, VPC, for MapReduce, okay, like EC2, there are certain web servers, like here it presents like two web servers mentioned over here. Okay, the status is running. Adding, like it is a like quick process. We can just choose on based on the requirement, and it will get load on our account, on our instances. Okay, with respect to DNS name and everything, with respect to IP services. Okay, so it requires like proper understanding of each and every concept. Okay, what we are learning is about the fundamentals of the cloud computing, but it is while working on this platform of AWS or Azure, okay, it is required to have proper knowledge about the uh, server infrastructure, networking, and the security also. Okay. Now, ELB, that is the elastic load balancing, means sometimes we can see that in certain websites also it is possible when you will there are high number of hits or high number of users are accessing that, we can get that sites or services getting down. Okay, but here there are rare chances of, because of they can use the elastic load balancing, okay, that enables to achieve a greater fault tolerance in the applications. Okay, so that it can reduce the getting your services get stuck or hang. Okay, so that is the ELB. Then Amazon VPC, that is virtual private cloud. Okay, it lets provision a logical isolated section of the Amazon web services. Okay, though it is a part of AWS infrastructure, but like in network which is not in our hand, but like we are servicing, like example for the VPN, we can take the services from the uh, any internet service provider. Okay, and we can connect number of locations or the regions as per the respective organization, but collectively that traffic which is passed through the service providers network, but still it is considered as a own network. Okay, so that is like virtual private network. The same way, the infrastructure which is fully available within the AWS parameters, but it will be like virtually like it is as allocated or provision as a isolated section of the AWS, and where you can launch AWS resources, okay, with your own like virtual network which can be defined. User can have the complete control over the virtual networking environment. Okay, they can allocate their own range of IP address. Okay, number of subnet creations. Everything could be achieved by opting the services which are in which is known as a virtual private cloud. Okay. Then S3, that is the one of the most high in demand service from Amazon. That is simple storage services. It is by using the internet, it designed to make the web scale computing easier for developers. Okay, it provides the web service interface that can be used to store and retrieve any amount of data. Okay, so whatever your capacity to register for that, okay, whether it is like terabyte capacity or petabyte, yottabyte, zettabyte, okay, in whatever range, okay, whatever amount of data, it can provide high computing. Okay, so it's not like for searching it will take like longer time. Okay, rather sometimes happens whenever laptop or the system memory is completely full, whether it is 500 GB or 1 terabyte capacity, and if you are accessing or search a specific file, even it is taking too much time. Okay, but while by processing anything uh, with this S3, it is like simple playing around, right? Then RDS, that is the Amazon Relational Database Services. Okay, it's a web-based service that makes it easy to set up, operate, and scale relational database in the cloud. Okay. As per the development perspective, we can see that they require this database tools or services, the platform along, right? So it provides the cost-efficient and resizable capacity while managing the time-consuming database administration tasks. So there is no load about space or processing power or computing, okay, to retrieve or interact with the database. Okay, by using this RDS, okay, it is very much going to be easier. Okay, and with high computing, data access will be uh, in a good manner, right? Okay, this is another screen capture with this DB service provider. Okay, so that it requires to have proper knowledge regarding the database to create the instance, uh, certain screenshot capture, group configurations, right? So whatever the engine or the parameters you like MySQL or Microsoft MS SQL Server or Oracle applications, respective of database usage, right? So which everything will be available in this cloud environment. Just we have to subscribe accordingly, we have to provide certain information, that's it, and we can able to start working with this. Okay, so it's like matter of seconds or minutes only. Okay, and services can be start using. Now after this AWS, there is another platform, that is the Azure, Microsoft Windows Azure platform. Okay, it is more into their own setup. So Microsoft services and platforms are highlighted with this Azure cloud services. Okay, so all these are the platforms which are available from the Azure, that is Microsoft SQL services, .NET services, Live services, SharePoint, Dynamics CRM. Okay, so the complete infrastructure available. Okay, only just subscribe and start using. Okay, on developers perspective, or specifically those who are into the .NET based development, okay, this is more in demand for them, because each and everything will be easily available and start using. Okay, so it is also providing the computing, storage management. uh, SQL Azure is providing RDBS, relational database, and the management. .NET services, which are access control, connectivity, okay, which can be maintained. Okay. Also, the various developer experience tool, which are like Visual Studio, Ruby on Rails, or Python, PHP, are also available. Okay, for their environment and their infrastructure. So it is like fill and users like on premises. Okay, only it is required to have your login and services subscribes for respective services provided from Azure. Now, extending Windows to the cloud. So we can have the compute, storage, and management. So compute like the virtualized compute environment, okay, based on the Windows server, as it is Windows model. I mean Microsoft's service provisioning. Okay, so they are highlighting number of the Microsoft products only. Okay, storage, which are the durable, reliable, scalable. Okay, and the management, automated management of the services life cycle. SQL services, all this data sync, data creation, reporting, okay, data mining. So all this facility, reference data, everything is available with this cloud model of Azure. .NET services for development uh, of any application or the environment, right? Internet scale utility services. So they provide a service bus, access control, workflow services. Okay, access control are specifically based on the rules driven. Okay, so that the user perspective, the roles and the rights like admin, normal users, power users, etc. Right. So to such facilities can also be gained with this .NET services. Then the services foundations, we can see the all of the Microsoft products, services, whether it is for email services or MS Office regarding any development or reporting tool, right? Everything is available with this Azure platform. Okay, the entire we can say the bundle of Microsoft products is easily available just to subscribe and start using. Okay, the commercial cloud services. Okay, this data is almost vary at present. Okay, because there are a number of engagement of the business customers. 40 more than 40 millions are like paid online seats. Okay, almost government services or government departments are also using the Azure platform. Okay, number of like more than 50% of the Fortune 500 companies which are also using the Azure platform. Okay, so all these services are like productivity, communication, collaborations, business apps management, storage platform. Okay, with respective all these modules like productivity perspective, Office and web solutions available. For communication on mail, it is required to have Microsoft Exchange server, so it is providing online Microsoft Exchange online with this uh, SharePoint applications, CRM, Dynamic CRM, then Intune, System Center, management perspective, that system upgrade and patch management. So number of things can be derived with this facility. SQL Azure, that is for storage and data part, data access and mining perspective, right? So number of the commercial tools are provided to have complete IT setup done over the Azure platform. So this is like infrastructure as a service. So it is on the foundation level. Based on that, it is built the platform as a service pass model, and above that, on all these platforms, certain applications or softwares are available, and which can be accessed by either of any devices. We can subscribe. I mean, we can access that using laptop, computer, tablet, mobile phone. Number of facilities are available. So this is about the cloud and infrastructure. Okay. So regarding that, if any questions are there, we are open for question answer session. Yes, anyone?
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. No, sir. This is not live meet, so only
Oh,
Facebook
okay.
available.
Right, right. Okay. No
Okay,
issues
sir.
then. I think we are
Yes,
done
sir.
with the
Okay,
time
sir.
as well. So I would like to thank you, all of you, for
Yes, sir.
inviting me, complete Parul University and the staff. Okay.
Yes, sir. And
So
thank
thank
you
you.
so much, sir, you also, for giving your valuable time and giving us such an amazing knowledge. It is very useful for us on our student. And also, I would like to thanks to our principal and HOD for giving us such an opportunity or motivation for this kind of initiative. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Welcome.
Hello, Jitan sir.